Hello. Hey, everybody. As y'all jump on, you guys y'all let me know where you're watching from. And are you working on any projects? What are you working on this week? And are you going to be painting with me today? Let me know. I want to tell you guys about me. So I'm JPO. I am the owner and artist of the Purple Posy in West Texas. And I am a content creator for Dixie Belle Paint Company. And I am a business coach and a creative mentor for my private membership group, Painting Over Borders. That's all about me. So you guys, as you jump on, y'all let me know where you're watching from. I always love to know what projects you got going on. Are you painting with me today? All the things. So what we're going to do today, if you guys watched my live last week, I started on my vanity. I'm redoing my bedroom. I'm painting everything in there. The last thing to do is my vanity before I move. I'm in a temporary living situation at the moment. This isn't my regular studio, in case you recognize it. And you're like, where are you at? We're moving to a different town this summer after my kids finish the school year. So I've got a perfect little spot, and I'm going to paint for you guys today. So last week I started on my vanity. Today I'm going to show you guys how to paint fabric with Dixie Belle Paint. You can totally paint fabric. I've painted fabric and it has held up very, very well. And when I say very well, I sit on it. I had a French provincial little vanity stool that I painted and it's fabric. I sit on it. I stand on it to reach my paints on the very top thing. My daughter puts her coloring books on it and she colors and it's perfect. It's like the day I painted it. So it withstands very, very well. Painted pleather, leather, plastic, glass, everything. You can paint literally almost anything with Dixie Belle Paint. So here is the vanity stool. This is actually black. It's super duper duper thick. It's almost like a plastic. So I've got one coat of slick stick on it and I'm waiting for that to dry and put a second coat, and then I'll wait 24 hours and then I will go in with my cotton. Okay, so I'm going to put that down here. We are just going to work on the seat and get the fabric painted today. So I'm going to shoot you guys down just a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. I don't need to see me. I need to see what I am doing. Hey guys, I see you jumping on. How y'all doing? All right, so this is pretty filthy. My daughter likes to get at my vanity and use my makeup, and she just gets it everywhere. So what I have done to prepare this is just simply vacuumed it off. That's all I've done. I vacuumed it off. There was there's a couple little strings that are kind of poking out, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. So just simply vacuum your fabric out, your chairs, anything you want to paint, couch, just vacuum it out really well, and then you can get going. While I'm thinking about it, I'm actually going to set this up on 2 cans of paint. So the easiest thing to do when you're painting fabric, if you can take the seat off, obviously, that is easy. But if you're painting something very large like a couch and you have to stand it up, keep in mind that when you paint it and as it dries, that paint's going to kind of settle to the bottom as the water dries because you use a lot of water when you paint fabric. So luckily this is just a small little area and I can just let it dry naturally. It'll come over here and maybe get this underside, this little lip right here a little bit. All right, so I've got my flat large paintbrush today that I'm going to be using. It holds a lot of paint. And I've got my fine mist water bottle full of water. Okay, so how I paint fabric, actually, let me move this. That's not going to work. Oh, and I'm using Antebellum Blue, which is one of the colors in my bedroom that I've been using. Antebellum Blue, beautiful teal color. All right, so one of the first things I do is I will wet my fabric pretty generously. Now, you don't want it sopping wet, but you want to get it pretty wet. So I'm just going to wet it with my water bottle. This is a continuous spray fine mist water bottle. Dixie Belle has these on their website. I think they're in stock. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. But you can find them on their website. They are fabulous. I don't use anything else for blending, watering your plants, things like that. Hello from New York. Hey, from down in West Texas. All right, so I got that pretty wet. I mean, you can see maybe some of the moisture on my hands. It's pretty wet. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Antebellum Blue, and we're going to get started. All right, what I'm also going to do, like I said, you're going to need to use a lot of water when you're painting fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and spray my brush pretty good. Before I start painting on my furniture, I missed it, but this is, I mean, I'm getting it pretty wet now. It's almost dripping. Yeah. Then we're going to come in with our paint. I'm just going to load it up. I'm putting about that much on there, loading it up, and we're just going to go in. Now, depending on what color you are doing or what you are coming from. So if you've got a blue piece of fabric and you're trying to go cotton, you might be doing that project for about 17 years. It's going to take a lot of paint to get that going. So I'm just working this in, and this is probably only going to take one coat since I'm going from a very light color to a deep blue. So I'm just misting as I go and swirling it in. It does have a little bit of texture to it. Now the under portion under here is like particle board or some sort of wood of some sort. So I don't want it, you know, I wouldn't just like pour a jug of water on here. That's not something I would do because you don't want to warp that wood. But every time I go in, I'm loading up my brush. It is loaded up. And I'll start in a different spot. Spread that paint around. This is going to be a fairly quick live. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I'm just going to warn you because this is pretty small. I'll explain the entire process after this dries, what I'm going to do. And then I'll let you guys go. But a lot of people don't know that you can paint fabric with Dixie Belle Paint, and you sure can. It's very easy to do. This paint makes it very easy to do. The paint itself is very pliable. So, for example, if you use it like on the wood you've been moldings, the wood you've been moldings, they will constrict, is it constrict? And contract with the wood, whatever you put it on. And the paint that you apply on the wood you bend will do the same. It's very pliable paint, which is why it is so great for fabric. And like I said, I've used it on pleather a couple of times, and that chair was actually in my 4 and 5 year old bedroom, so it saw quite a bit of not delicate traffic, and it was perfect. I did repaint it because she changed the colors of her bedroom, but it was perfect up until the day I painted it, and it had been close to 2 years. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just checking to see if there's any like thin spots that doesn't have a whole lot of paint on it, and I'm just spreading it around and getting into a little texture, and I'll bring it up close so you guys can see the texture on here in just a second. Is anybody painting with me today? Have y'all said? All right, I'm going to turn this just a little bit. Kind of got a small area. I'm trying to get my workspace set up. I've been moving and packing for like 4 days straight. I'm exhausted. I hate moving. And I get to do it all again in a couple of months. So that's fun. But we do what we got to do for our kids, right? Make them happy. I want my kids to finish the school year here with their friends. All right. I'm loving that I'm only going to need, this is so, the paint is so highly pigmented, which helps tremendously as well. Not only the fact that I'm going from a light color to a dark, but the paint is so highly pigmented. That definitely helps as well. All right, so I'm getting the sides, making sure it's all covered. And as it's drying, it is lightening up a little bit. So I'm just going to go over it, spread that paint around some more. Antebellum blue is such a beautiful color. Now, if I had a bunch of like fingernail polish and lipstick and, you know, what have yous on here, it might be a little bit more difficult to cover, but it was actually in not so bad shape considering. There's a link there for you guys. If you want to, if you'll click on that link, it'll actually take you straight to the Antebellum Blue paint. However, you can also use that link to find a local retailer near you. They should, especially if you have an elite retailer, they should have these brushes, the water bottles, the paint, and all Dixie Belle products. And you can just go shopping and see what you just cannot live without. Or if you don't have a retailer, you can order from that link right there, and it will come straight to your door. And it also helps my small business out. And I appreciate you guys when you use it. I've been using it a lot lately, and I'm so appreciative of that. Okay, finish up over here. Now, I've got a fan in here in this little workshop, which will help tremendously in the drying process. Since I've used so much water, it'll help. Get this last little section here. Can you all see? I mean, you can see a major difference there in the colors, how well it's taking. Now, there's several different ways that you can paint fabric. I've seen fabric painted with, I mean, almost dry fabric. I think the first time I painted fabric was on a lampshade. Yeah, it was on a lampshade, and I painted it. It went from like a black and a cream to, I painted it just straight gray. It did take several coats. I don't remember the gray I used, but I don't think I had it very wet, to be quite honest with you. I think it was almost dry, and it still worked just fine as far as spreading it. So you can spray the fabric, your brush with the paint on it, just as long as you've got some water to spread it around. There's no right or wrong way to do it, guys. There's really not. Okay, I mean, that's it. So what I want to explain to you guys is the process after this dries. So after this dries, and it's probably going to take at least 24 hours at the very, very least. And I'll check it. I'll just kind of push my hand down and make sure I don't get any moisture when it comes back up, springs back up. Then what I'm going to do, well, let me back up a little bit. So if I come out here after 24 hours and the fabric is not, like there's some spots that are, you know, you can still see a little bit of the beige coming through or whatever, I'll do another coat. But before I do that, the seat's dry, I'll come in with a sanding sponge and I'll sand really good over the entire piece. Don't worry about your fabric. It's going to be just fine, I promise you. You just sand over it, kind of smooth it out a little bit, okay? You spray, you basically do the same process that I just did for you guys. Wet paint, wet brush, wet fabric. Go over it again, let it dry. And then once that is done and it's completely dry, whoops, got paint on my sweater. I'll take the sanding sponge again and I'll go over it real well. And I didn't mention, after you sand it, you're going to want to like blow it off. If you've got a blower, like the compressor, you know, whatever, just wipe it off or however you need to do it with a brush or whatever. I'll sand it, clean all of the gunk off of it. Then I'm going to take my handy dandy La Petite brush, who got a little damaged in the moving. She got a little damaged. I'll take my La Petite and I will take Best Dang Wax in clear here. I'll show you. The Best Dang Wax is actually white. It looks white. The first time I used it, it freaked me out. It's white, but it's clear. It's actually clear. And I will work it in. And I mean, I'm not going to get shy, and I'm not going to be stingy with the wax, but I'll rub it in real well. Rub it in all over the place real good. Make sure I got good coverage. And then I'll kind of let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll wipe it back with a sponge so you don't have all that like tackiness, you know what I mean, from the wax. I've also sealed fabric with Easy Peasy spray wax. My vanity chair that I was telling you about that was in my studio that I use as a step stool, That's actually sealed with easy peasy spray wax. Honestly, just 2 coats. But I'm going to try the best dang, which I'm sure is going to work just fine as well. And that's it. I'm sorry, this is super short, but it's something that I needed to get done. And I wanted to show you guys how you can paint fabric with the Dixie Belle Paint. So you guys use that link to find a retailer, or you can order the products through that link and it helps me. Either way, you're helping a small business, right? And we need to be doing that. And if you have any questions, Dixie Belle should have been on here to answer any questions that you had as I was painting. But if you have some, you're watching the replay, it's like 2024, please tag me, because I won't see it unless you're tagged. I'm sure to see it if you tag me in there. You can, my business page is popped up in the title. I'd love it if you go check me out, give me a thumbs up. I'm on all of the things, the Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, Tangy. I'm on all of the things, so come find me if you're on there. That's it. So you guys let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I will be here next Monday, same place, same time, to do some more painting for you guys. Y'all have a great day. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. Also, I typically put out a blog to show how I finish these pieces of furniture. If you head on over to my website, thepurpleposy.com, and sign up for the mailing list, you'll get notified when those blogs are posted as well.